we've got YouTubers now that have been doing it for 10 years or close to 15 years, but think about someone that's been doing YouTube for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Like, think about where PewDiePie's channel will be in another decade. Like, he has so much power over the internet. He can just wave his hand and say something, and it's the whole internet, all of Reddit and all of YouTube just bends to what he says. It's amazing the kind of power that just one word out of that guy's mouth has, or the reach that it has, you know?
I guess I don't know.
Well, him and Joe Rogan, I think, are like the most powerful voices on the internet right now.
Maybe they have a lot of subscribers and viewers, but I don't know if they have power. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about more, maybe power is the wrong word, but reach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think reach is a way better word. Yeah. For sure.
Like if
They
you,
have like viewers all over like the world, pretty much.
the Alex Jones podcast on Joe Rogan got like 400 million plays across all platforms and stuff. And if you
Yeah.
count like re-uploads and shit like that, there's more, it got more plays than there are people in the United States. It's amazing how many people are tuning into Joe Rogan. Like, he's the new Johnny Carson. He's the new Walter Cronkite. Like, he's the voice. He's literally the voice of our country now. You know, he's the late night talk show host. He's the news anchor for the United States, in my opinion. Like, everybody knows who Joe Rogan is. Everybody has seen an episode of his or a clip of his. And it's not like, oh, did you hear about this guy that did this and that? And people will say, oh, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, wasn't he? Like, that's how people know other people. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense.
Maybe just because like maybe like where you've been, but like where have I been? I've never heard anyone talk about Joe Rogan until I met like you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Maybe it's an age thing because I'm a little bit older than you.
exactly. That's why I think it just depends. But yeah, I don't know because I know a lot of people that I've met more people that don't like Joe Rogan than the people that like Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Hmm. See, most of the opinions that I have on Joe Rogan, like, including myself and most of the people that I know, are like, I don't have much of an opinion on Joe Rogan himself as a person,
Yeah, I
you
mean
know,
that's pretty much me.
but I really like his show because of the people he has on it. And that segues me perfectly into another thing I wanted to talk about was he just had Bernie Sanders on his show. And we're not going to get political, but he's having senators on his show, dude. That's insane. He's having senators, current senators and presidential candidates on his show. You
Yeah.
can't get bigger than that unless you get Donald fucking Trump, like a sitting president, you know, which that
Hmm.
won't happen. But his show is so fucking big. It's bigger than CNN. It's bigger than Fox News. Like, it is, he has his finger on the pulse of our country, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm wondering how he's handling that. Is he going like, holy shit, I just started this show to talk to people. And now I'm the new Johnny Carson. I'm the new Walter Cronkite. Like, I can't imagine what he thinks of that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they stream live. So if he says something, it has tremendous reach.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
But I think he's gotten to that point where he can say whatever he wants. You know what I mean? He really can't get in trouble. Because
You can say that all you want, but people said that about PewDiePie.
yeah, but PewDiePie had a bunch of kid subscribers. You know what I mean? Whereas like this guy, like people go to Joe Rogan and they know what they expect from Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? He's not gonna say anything that's gonna be like, oh no, you shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? He's already said shit like that before.
I guess.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, it depends on the person. You know what I mean? Just because like PewDiePie started out as like a video game YouTuber, so like when
Hmm.
he said that kind of stuff, it's kind of like, oh man, like your whole audience is kids. So like, what are you telling these kids?
Whereas
I think that's the difference.
Joe Rogan built his whole show around being what he still is now. Like, he hasn't really changed much.
Exactly. It's like aimed towards like adults. I'd say a more mature audience.
Yeah. And I appreciate what Joe Rogan is doing because he's curious and he's asking questions and he's having both sides on. Like, he'll have Ben Shapiro on and Bernie Sanders. Like, they could not be farther away from each other politically. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think it's good that he's having those talks with people that are different. You know, it's not an echo chamber. I think Joe Rogan is great because he's shining a light on both sides. But yeah, I just thought it was crazy that he had Bernie fucking Sanders on his show. That's huge. I mean, the guy that arguably could have been the presidential nominee in the 2016 election for the
Yeah.
Democrats, like really super, super close against Hillary for the Democratic nomination, a breath away from being the Democratic nominee. And obviously, the election was super duper close in 2016. So this guy was a breath away from being president.
Yeah. What I think is crazy is like whenever you think podcast, I think people like this is I think to me this is like the number one podcast. You know what I mean?
Oh, of
Like
course.
this is the kind of guy where it's like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? And people are like, oh shit, like this is like the podcast to be on. You know what I mean? Like if I
Yeah.
were to go on to a single one, this is the one to go to.
It's got to be
Just
tiring for him because I bet everybody that meets him is like, "Hey, can I come on the show?"
oh, I
You know.
mean, yeah, true that, but
But he's also the guy that's like, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" And
he
they're
gets
like,
yeah.
"I'm canceling everything. Like
Yeah.
I'm getting married that day, not anymore. I'm moving that." You know, like it's his show is like whatever it takes to get on that show. I'm sure people are like, "What hoop do I have to jump through?"
Well, like what I was going with, like he gets to like interview like any kind of like rock star, you know what I mean? So anyone he liked growing up, he could like most likely get on the show.